what would you sort of, is there a type of company that you would sort of like say for us for instance, we're probably like, even though I've been in the trade sort of like 15, 20 years, as a company we're sort of only like a couple of years old.
Yeah.
Is there a sort of time frame, would you say you're better off getting 2 or 3 years under your belt and getting some decent financial reports before you apply a tender?
If we go back to bid ready, so these things, so you need finances ideally 2 years. If you've got 1 year, that's okay, you can just submit extra stuff to back that up. 2 years finances, if you've got 3 good case studies and you've got your references, that's all you need to go to the public sector. The rest is based on, most of it will be your proposal for how you're going to do the work. So this is you mitigating the risk. So you're saying, right, we're in a good financial position, we can show we can do the work to a good standard, we know what we're doing. Apart from these things, and then the enthusiasm and you putting in that effort, that's all you need to be ready to start going for the public sector.
I thought that when we first started, I thought I was ready or big enough, because you always have this, when I talk to Stu, and he's a rep, it comes out to, and you always think that working for government sector or working on these framework things are for your national companies, basically your big boys, and and I did think already, and then we went and we took a punt, to go for that, and and then when you get involved in it, 9 times out of 10, which I mentioned earlier, they don't like the big companies. The governments don't like them.
And also they are, the whole point of public sector procurement now is that it is meant to be broken down. So there's more frameworks, there's more kind of lots within bigger contracts. That is something that they certainly are trying to achieve, so that more of this work is given to SMEs. Now, Gav and I have a feeling on this because SME can actually be pretty large, so sometimes that's pretty frustrating when you're counted out of something. But on the whole, generally I would say they do break this work up, they try and chunk it up so that it is far more achievable for smaller organisations. So it's just about finding the right opportunity, that's the thing. You get people that kind of go, oh, I'm not ready to tender, but sorry, there we go.
And it's going back to this, can we deliver this? So if you're looking at the document and it's saying, it's open and it's up a value up to like 5 million, you're going to have the bigger people going in for that. If it's a framework where it's like, small works from 0 to 100 grand, you're not going to have like bigger contractors going for that because it's not worth it to them. So this is where you go in here, can we deliver it? Yeah, you could probably deliver like work up to a certain grand, but then you'd have to then recruit extra staff, you'd have to get probably new bases or locations, you'd have to use a supply chain. So then that kind of links into here. So is that then going to be profitable? It's probably not if you're going to have to resource and put all that extra effort in. And is it winning? Well, no, because the bigger contractor is going to be able to take their model and put it straight into that. You don't have that evidence or experience.
It's a bit like us when we went for Bedford Council, and we knew that we couldn't go. We went 0 to 5 grand, so every job that we do for Bedford Council is all up to 5 grand. So that every single job that you're going to take on is going to be a manageable job, and then we do up to 25 grand for bigger projects, and then we stopped at that for last time. Obviously, because we've been in and we've had 3 years with them now, we've gone right, we can take stuff up to 100 grand now because we know the process, how it works, and put systems in place. So you can start off small and then work up to the bigger stuff later on once you get used to it.
And it's like you've said to me quite often, that smaller, the kind of 0 to 5 grand type thing. Most money, there you go, because it doesn't, lots of people go, oh well, it's only going to be a tiny little job, but actually it's a lot of tiny little jobs which really can stack up.
You just show the constraint the public sector or the private sector as well?
No, we do both. We absolutely do both. The reason we focus today on public sector is because it's a far kind of more complicated process that people tend to need more help with. So that was kind of why we focused today. It's a bit more practical for you guys, but we absolutely do both. The only thing to point out is obviously the search service, the tender search service, is only public sector, because obviously public money has to be published publicly. If it's private, they don't have to tell anyone. So we don't have much control over that.
We do private sectors.
Yeah, no, that's what Dean's just saying. Yeah, no, we do, absolutely. It's just, people tend to think they don't need as much help. I'd perhaps argue with that though, because there's that whole thing, somebody in private, they go, oh, here's this tender, we really want to give you the work. And then people go, oh, they really want to give me the work. fool. That's not true. That's not how it works. They'll be telling everyone they really want to give them the work, obviously, because of course they want more people to be interested.
Yeah.
So people tend to be more complacent with private bidding.
Yeah.
I would suggest that perhaps that's a mistake. So no, we do a lot of that as well, but it's just, usually that way it's come through the company, hasn't it? It's people that know each other or have got connections, so they will then come to us and go, look, here's this opportunity, can you help us with it? So
There's more corruption in that private sector than there is in public sector, I thought.
I would
because it's not regulated at all. I mean,
Avoid it that one out.
we do private sector bids. I used to do business development at the construction company, so it's two completely different routes to market, public and private, and each of them have the benefits and not. I mean, if you wanted us to come back in and talk about private, then we can do that, but it is a completely different end-to-end process.
It is, and I tell you, one of the things with private sector bidding, as you probably know, is that someone will say, price up this job, we really want to give it to you, and then it never happens. And we see that so often, and it can just be because they just want to see what's out there. Sometimes it's because they have somebody currently delivering that work, and they just want to shake them up a bit, and say, actually, someone else has said they'll do it cheaper, so work harder, or else. So quite often that happens, that the opportunity that you're putting all of this work into isn't real. It doesn't exist. In reality, it would never happen. Whereas with public sector, it has to exist. The budget has to be signed off before, It was a very real piece of work. That carrot is right there at the end. And if you win it, you get it, you do it. Done.
So, where about you based?
Chapel Allerton, North Leeds. We work nationally, but we do try to keep it as kind of Yorkshire-y as we can, really.
It's always the best way to
Do you know when people
It is,
worry-
yeah.
Do you know when people worry about different trades coming out? Because you said you don't know how much tiling comes out on public sector.
Yeah.
How much plastering comes out on public
Yeah.
sector. Could you give them some feedback and say, well, these been this many
So what we do with that is, if you were to sign up with a search, the first search we do is a historic search. So we look over the last 12 months and work out what's coming up and what's been out there. So generally with these smaller trades, what you're looking at is really wanting to get into frameworks, such as your Leeds City Council, Bradford, Barnsley. They all have approved supplier lists or frameworks. Then there's also a lot of DPSs, so DPS is a dynamic purchasing system, and it's kind of like an approved list where a lot of people will sign up to that approved list, and then the local authorities will then use that list, because the list checks like finances, case studies, accreditations, things like that. So from a public buyer like a council, it's easy for them to use that list and have to go through all the process themselves. So there's loads of DPSs, frameworks. So even if you use a search and there is an opportunity coming through, like there isn't for Gav, there'll be weeks where I don't send you anything over. But then the framework will come up, and literally the day it's published, we'll be sending that over to Gav and saying, like, this is action plan for how we're going to do this. But we can give you a guide from looking back what kind of has come out in the past and what's currently open. And we can also do things like even doing a bit of digging into frameworks that have come out in the last few years, and we have a framework list, so we know what's in the pipeline for people like Efficiency North, Procure Plus.
66 ones.
Yeah, so from my last job, I've got quite good connections with some framework managers there, so they kind of give us a hint as to when those will be popping up.
But to absolutely answer your question bluntly, I don't have a crystal ball, so do not know what's going to come out. One of the reasons we have the search service is there's no contract, it's just a monthly thing, is because I cannot guarantee what's going to come out. I'm pretty sure it will come out under these frameworks, but we kind of say to people, just give it a go. First month's half price for you lot, which is what, £37.50, bit of a no-brainer. And then after that, if you don't see stuff, fine, cancel it. Because from our point of view, we don't want to keep you tied into something that's not working.
Do you have like a policy where, say you bid for something for Gav, you won't take another decorator on for the same
so
thing?
we would never support two competitors on the same actual opportunity, because someone's got to lose, haven't they?
Yeah.
Also, in terms of conflict of interest, it would be very difficult for us to advise two people competing for the same thing. However,
I'm going to decorate.
quite upset.
You've been cheated on, Gary.
However, we have a lot of clients and a lot of them do work in all similar fields. We tend to find that actually people don't tend to go for the same things. Sometimes it's because of different sizes of organisations. Some people like to work with, say, unis, others hate unis, you know, that kind of thing. Timescales as well, some people might just go, I have not got time to be doing that one at the moment, we're chock-a-block with this other contract we've just won, you know, different types of work. The way we operate though is first come, first served. So first person to ask us to do it, we say absolutely fine, we're signed up. The next phone call we get, which it doesn't happen very often, but if it does, we'll say, I'm sorry, I can't work on that one with you. So we got really over, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine, that's fine, it's all good stuff. Would you be interested if we can get them back, like to next month, have them come back and talk about private tendering?
Yeah.
If it's a no, don't tell us now.
No,
Yeah.
I tend to tender quite loosely.
Yeah, so we could do it
That's
more
the
on like
term I'll use.
proposals, that kind of putting together proposals and that kind of thing.
The question is, a lot of my tenders on price, but I want to try and get across the quality, that's why I brought my little portfolio.
Yeah, so we definitely could talk for ages, but in a real nutshell for that, right, here's the thing. If you're given 3 prices, and all you're given is 3 prices, you go for the cheapest, right? But if you're given 3 prices, and the person in the middle says, also, I do this really good social value initiative, and also all my people are employed locally, who are you going to give it to then? Probably the person in the middle.
That's
It's a little
why I
bit
do it. That's
more.
why I do
So
it.
yeah, we always encourage people to put a little bit more in there. Give them a reason to choose.
I'm going to put you on the spot then, 27th of April.
Oh
Same
God,
time.
I really don't know how to check those. In fact, I'm in Paris.
Yeah, I'm in Italy. Day after.
Jesus Christ, I fly, isn't it?
What's your opinion?
Pay for you, pay for the girl.
Thanks, Gav.
Holiday money?
I just
pretty sure
want to
that
we'll have a look at me then.
Yeah.
Is that alright?
Absolutely fine. Let me check that day.
Alright.
Yeah.
If you can check for April, let me know for definite.
Yes.
Right. What I would say in terms of local councils, and this is something I know, is that they have a target to use local businesses.
Indeed.
In terms of, and that's not generally known. You know, because there was something I was doing some work a couple of years ago now, where one of the local councils, only 18% of the contract went to local businesses. It was Crewe, I think, and they were held up as saying this is not acceptable. And so I think you'll find that your Barnsley's, your Sheffields, your Doncasters, your Rotherhams, your Leeds, your Yorks have a target to work with locally based
They
organisations.
do, and what they do now is within the tenders, because that is a formal initiative now, so within the tenders, up to 20% of the scores are allocated to social value. And social value obviously doesn't travel very far, so that basically just means local employment. So that's
Does
one of the things we
anybody
work
know
on.
does anybody know what that means? It's social value. Does anybody know what social value is?
There we go.
Local labour,
Employee
using
locally.
local supply chain,
Yeah,
local
yeah.
subcontractors,
Yeah.
everything.
And that's something we can help you understand. It's about understanding what that actually means for you as a business in terms of, they chuck this word around. I went to an event, construction event maybe 18 months ago, and there was a guy there from, and he was talking about this topic, and I said, it sounds great, but if I go back and talk to my yeah, I know what it means. If I go back and talk to my construction clients, they will not have a Scooby-Doo as to what's about. Say, oh my God, something else I've got to do. And it's all the good stuff you do. So as I say, if you support the local rugby team or the football team, or you do teams, or you go in and you make people row across the likes of Pugneys, that's all social value. So anything you do, if you go into local school and you've done the garden, whatever, that's what it is. It's nothing more than that.
I honestly think that people are missing a trick with it. This is why I say to everybody that they've got to get involved with it, but they're also like, oh, no, I don't want to get involved in it. I tell everybody just have a go at it. Because they're missing a trick. Because I had a go.
Here's the thing: is most tenders are won and lost by about 1% or a fraction of a percent. So if you've got 20% of those marks, it's not often that high, but it can be. If you've got 20% of the available marks for something like this, do you really want to risk? If something's being lost on 1%, do you really want to risk it? And it can be pretty simple things as well that actually you might do anyway. So paying for employees to get training. for example, that social value because you're investing in them because they're employed locally, apprenticeships, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, all sorts of things like that you probably already do, but just perhaps think about it more.
Yeah. And the easiest way is, loads of people don't think about it, they'll just be like, oh, we'll propose all this fantastic stuff. Just ring who you're bidding to and say, what's your social value priorities?
Or
And then
it's on the
yeah, or if it'll be on the website, and if they say, right, and you know, it might say like Leeds City Council, our priorities are to, you know, help, you know, re-offenders back into the workplace. That's their top priority, so that's what, you know, you want to sell. But you know, a lot of them.
We've got two that's back in it.
Yeah.
That was your fault.
No.
So yeah, you can find that out and you can tailor it. So you don't want to promise the earth and start, you know, it costing you money. You know, sponsoring a local team is, you know, fine, like where you're based, but if you're going for a job like over in Liverpool, it's not really cost effective. So find out from them. They normally have like somebody in charge of that. You can book a meeting, and then in your tender you can be like, oh, actually, we've already spoke to this person, and these are your values, and this is what we're going to do about it. It's really easy to do social value once you just put your foot in the door and get that conversation going.
It's kind of something we have on the agenda for later on in the year. We're getting somebody to come in and talk to you about it. If that's what